I was out for a walk the other day and I walked by an unfenced property with an adolescent dog and their owner, and the dog just seemed to be listening. Now, if you are a dog owner who's struggling to get some attention from your dog, who's struggling because every time they see a distraction, they want to leave you, you might think that that owner just was lucky and got a great dog, or they have the right breed. And that may be partially true. Some breeds are just naturally a little bit more attentive. They have been bred over generations to be the best listeners, to be the hardest workers. But one thing that I've noticed after seeing thousands of dogs here in our training facility, after seeing thousands of dogs in our online training programs from all over the world, is that these dogs who listen well all have owners who have something in common. All of these dog owners understand the 5 rules that I'm going to be talking about today. It allows their dogs to be more successful. More importantly, it allows their dogs to have more focus, even in the most distracting environments. So let's figure out how to apply these 5 rules to your training. I'm Ken Steep. This is Mac. Welcome back to McCann Dogs. Here on our YouTube channel, we publish videos every week to help you to have a well-behaved 4-legged family member. And I like videos like this because regardless of your dog's age, their breed, regardless of their stage in training, their temperament, you can apply these things, these steps and tips that I'm going to talk about to your training to get better results. The first thing I want you to think about when it comes to getting more focus and attention and teaching your dog to listen outside is to understand that being outside after you're doing all your training, it adds a layer of difficulty. Reinforcing the fact that you are worth listening to is a really important step, regardless of the location, regardless of the kind of dog that you're working with. Reminding your dog that you have something of value is going to be an important step for a lot of new dog owners. Now, if you have the kind of dog who pulls the moment you step outside the door because they love to go for walks, what would your walks look like if you started with a little bit more control? Instructor Carol does a really nice job of demonstrating this, and her example is introducing a dog to like a park and going through that gateway. I want you to check this clip out, and you're going to find it really useful if you have an excited dog who just loses their mind when they're going for walks or when they get to the park.
See, Lucy's pretty excited about getting over there. We're about to go through the gate and she's anticipating that. You ever have that? You're leaving your house, your dog can't wait to go, they're pulling your arm off, or they're fighting you to get out of that car to get to the park. Well, we're gonna change the game a little bit. In order to get where she wants to go, she's gonna have to focus on me. So my value's going way up because I provide that great area. Let's see how I work it. Ready? Oh, we're pulling. Oh, I exist. I do, yeah. Oh, good girlie. That's much better. So when she's on a loose leash, I'll praise her. Yay. Good girl. And I don't need to reward with food because she's getting what she wants by going through there. That's the best reward ever. Yes. Good girl. Good girl. Oh, a little bit of tension. Black and white. Yes. Good girl. Very nice. Yes. See? Good girl. Oh, I gotcha. One more time. You're almost there. Yes. Ready? You're almost there. Yes. Sit.
High-value foods and treats are a powerful tool, but it won't fix everything. I see far too often people struggling in the real world. Their dog is constantly pulling, they're just too distracted. And that's a great example of someone who can't see that their dog isn't going to be successful. You need to really be aware of the temptations in the environment. If there's too much temptation, change the location. Distance is your friend, especially when it comes to struggling getting focused, struggling to get some attention. I think back to before lockdown and quarantine, we often would go to shows in the downtown Toronto, and it would be a busy environment, and we'd always love it when we'd have young dogs or adolescent dogs that were in training because this was a great time to start to introduce them to some new distractions. But quite often we'd have to find a secluded, quiet spot. Maybe that meant going several hundred meters away to a quiet corner. Maybe it's a little alleyway or the front of a business somewhere that isn't so distracting so that your dog can be successful. Regardless of the kind of food you've got, the kind of reward you've got, you need to ensure that that dog has an opportunity to be right by removing all of the things in the world that are forcing them to be wrong. Something that you'll notice a lot of dogs do that listen really well is they'll offer attention. So I need you to find a spot, find a space where your dog's going to offer you that kind of attention rather than you insisting on it by calling their name, by using a treat. You need your dog to voluntarily offer you some of that attention. If you're going to tell me that you can't find any space that looks like that or that feels like that, you need to look harder. Lots of dogs are really motivated by motion. We talked in a recent video about finding a purposeful pace. If you're struggling with your walking on leash training, your dog's constantly pulling on leash, then maybe changing the pace can be an important step in getting some success. Now, walking too quickly is often, unless you're trying to close your rings or get more steps, not going to be helpful. Your dog may even find that too exciting and start to get stimulated and pull more. Walking too slowly is likely going to allow your dog to get more distracted. But if once you find that pace, like you're late for something or you're going somewhere, you'll probably see your dog lock in a little bit more, allowing you to reinforce that position, allowing you to reinforce that great walking on leash that you really want. But it's not just limited to walking on leash. Skills like response to name, skills like the recall. This is something that we do with all of our puppies in our puppy restraint recalls. We want to activate the dog's chase drive. We want to really make them excited about the process of getting to us, not just the reward at the end. This is about that full motivation. So when you call your dog's name, you back away and you can reward them. When you called come, you run the other direction. You'll be amazed at how motivated your dog gets by the act of chasing after you. I remember a time when I was snowboarding in the mountains in British Columbia and we were down in the village and someone's husky had gotten loose and people are running around all over the village trying to catch this dog. And when the dog came out onto the road I was on, I just made a funny noise and ran away. Well, guess where the husky went? It chased right after me. So take advantage of some of these natural behaviors from your dog and you're going to start to see that they're choosing you more often because you're exciting. Just the act of chasing after you is a lot of fun for them. Remember, you're competing with all of the other distractions in the environment, so you better be the most interesting thing. Don't underestimate the power of your voice. People will often comment on our puppy training videos when Kale gives her yes.
Yes! 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 That was a good one! Yay!
It has a lot less to do with what you're saying and a lot more to do with how you're saying it. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to have a high-pitched, bubbly voice when you're communicating with your dog, when you're trying to maintain some of that attention. Maybe your dog loves lower, gruff, gravelly kind of sounds. But as you're training, you need to figure out what works for them. Now, this won't be forever. This is something that's going to bridge that time as we're really trying to be able to reinforce that attention on you. The other great part is that this is what we're doing in between rewards. This is how you can start to wean off of having food in your hand or rewarding constantly. That using your voice bridges that time, and over a while you can start to distance it out because you're using your voice to support that attention between rewards. End every training session with a motivated dog. This is something that's really important to remember, especially for those of you with young puppies. The best thing you can do is plan for 3 or 4, 10 or 15-minute training sessions throughout the day rather than one-hour session. We want to really make sure that our dogs are motivated. And when we're talking about puppies, they have small bellies, short attention spans. When we're talking about adult dogs, you might be introducing that sort of brain work to your dog or introducing that kind of physical work to your dog, and they can get tired pretty quickly. So you want to plan for multiple short training sessions throughout the day so that you end up with a dog who's just as excited about the training at the end of the session as they were at the beginning. In fact, as your dog starts to run out of energy, they're likely to make worse choices, get more distracted, sniff the ground, do all sorts of avoidance behaviors because you've just worked them too long. So using motivation, have you done this? Have you played fetch until your dog stopped bringing the ball back? It's a really, really common mistake that dog owners make. If that is the case, then you need to stop that the next time you play fetch, stop that training session 3 or 4 throws earlier so that your dog is constantly excited about the act of fetching. They're excited about the process of training. The last thing you want to do, especially when you have a young dog in training, is burn them out to make you a lot less interesting because they'll stop listening to you and you'll be using all of your commands ineffectively. This is a bit of a bonus tip, but something made me think about it when we were talking a little bit earlier about motion. Don't be afraid to switch up your rewards, and toys can be a great way to do that. Our young dog Euchre, who you've seen on the channel from the day we brought her home, she's a dog that's not super motivated by food, but when we introduce toys into our training for specific exercises, it's like we entirely changed the game for her. Another thing for you to keep in mind is that sometimes having altering rewards, so maybe you work on your recall and the one time it's food, you reward your dog in a control position with food. The next time you pop out the toy at the end, they're never really sure what that reward's going to be. We talk about motivation, and a great way to do that is to get them excited about what that ending's going to be. It's like a jackpot reward sometimes. The other thing that's really nice about using toys, especially when we're talking about interactive toys, is that the benefit of that toy, the excitement of that toy only happens with you. So something like our McCann Dogs Fuzzy Tugs or our McCann Dogs Puppy Tugs is a great way to engage the dog, and the only time it's available to them is with you. You'll find, and we definitely saw this with Euchre, but you'll find the dog's excitement level goes through the roof, which means that for certain exercises it's appropriate, for others you might want to avoid it. So when you're working your response to name, when you're working your recall, any of these exercises or skills where you want to really crank up the speed, really crank up the drive, pull out your toy. It is a great way to reinforce for your dog that you are lots of fun. Now, all dog owners want a dog who listens just as well off leash as they do on leash. And Instructor Carol's made a great video that you can check out that teaches you how to go from sore hands to no hands when you're working outside with your dog. So click that card right there. And if you're looking for some personalized help that's specific to you and your dog's needs, make sure you check out the link in the description to our life skills program, where one of our McCann Dogs instructors can help you through your dog training process. On that note, I'm Ken. Happy training.